Let's go down an old dirt road, singing strawberry wine and out the window. You can be my baby tonight down Copperhead Road. Let's go to a place in the pines across my heart. You're still the one I like, and God gave me you and you had me from hello.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, liftoff.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
We're now at T plus 35 seconds. Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 from Cape Canaveral, Florida at 11:41 p.m. Eastern Time. Next major milestone coming up.
Nominal power and telemetry.
Next major milestone is max Q, and that is when the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of external stresses as it ascends through the Earth's atmosphere.
Vehicle supersonic.
That call out there tells us that the vehicle is traveling faster than the speed of sound.
Max Q.
And there's that call out for max Q. Again, that's when the rocket experiences the greatest amount of external stresses. Now we're less than a minute away from a series of events that will happen in quick succession. Main engine cutoff, stage separation, second engine start 1, and fairing separation. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, as it's written on that timeline there at the bottom of your screen, that's where all 9 Merlin 1D engines on that first stage will shut down. Next will be stage separation, and that's when, as the name suggests, the first and second stages will separate. SES1, or second engine start 1, is where we will light the Merlin vacuum engine on that second stage. And fairing separation is when those 2 fairing halves will separate and fall away from the second stage. Coming up now to main engine cutoff.
MECO. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC startup.
As you just saw and heard over the nets, we had successful main engine cutoff, stage separation, and SES1. We're now coming up on fairing separation from the second stage in just a few seconds. That is the first stage, extending the grid fins on the left-hand side of your screen, and second stage on the right.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Beautiful view of those 2 fairing halves separating and falling away from the second stage, exposing our stack of Starlink satellites. We will be attempting to recover both fairing halves using our recovery vessel, Doug. Both of the fairing halves that supported today's mission are flight proven, with one half flying for its 8th time and the other for its 10th. Gorgeous view of the second stage engine, that MVAC engine, or Merlin vacuum engine. There's one single engine on the second stage. Currently the first stage, not currently on screen, but it is on its way back to Earth toward our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas. And that MVAC engine there, attached to the second stage, is continuing along with its burn, which will last about another 2.5 minutes. Designed and manufactured by SpaceX, Starlink is the world's largest satellite internet constellation. Starlink satellites operate in low Earth orbit, which enables the delivery of high-speed, low-latency internet to people living in remote and rural locations around the globe.
Acquisition of signal, Bermuda.
Vehicles on a nominal trajectory.
Everything continues to look good for both the first and second stages. Live views of that second stage on your screen now. As I mentioned earlier, today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's 53rd mission just this year and 252nd mission overall. Coming up in about 30 seconds, we will have entry burn for the first stage, which is the first of 2 burns that stage will execute in preparation for landing. Right now, the first stage is steering itself back to Earth. We're targeting a landing on our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas. You can
Stage
see
1 FCS is saved. Stage 1 entry burn startup.
there's the call out for stage 1 entry burn, which you can see there on the left-hand side of your screen. Stage 1, which we also call the booster, has now ignited engines 1, 5, and 9.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
It has now shut off engines 1, 5, and 9, and that maneuver allowed it to
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
allowed it to slow the vehicle down for atmospheric reentry. Pretty cool view of the grid fins there on the left-hand side of your screen. Those actually measure 4 feet by 5 feet, and they're one of the largest cast titanium structures in the world.
Stage 2 is on a nominal trajectory.
Stage 1 transonic.
That call out there tells us that the first stage is transonic, meaning it is traveling near the speed of sound. The next milestone we have coming up is landing of the first stage. That will be the final burn that the first stage performs, and it will attempt to make a soft landing on our drone ship.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There we can see that landing burn has begun. In preparation for touchdown on our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas.
Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Beautiful backlit view of that first stage. Falcon 9 first stage has now successfully launched and landed for the 4th time.
Expected loss of signal, Cape.
One of the younger rockets in our fleet. Now coming up on second engine cutoff.
Seco 1.
Heard confirmation of
Nominal orbit insertion.
Now, great timing. We heard the confirmation of second engine cutoff, followed by nominal orbital insertion. So now that we know...
Expected loss of signal, Bermuda.
So great news there with that confirmation of good orbit. Today's landing marks our 214th overall landing of an orbital class rocket, including Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy missions. And with confirmation of successful first stage landing and second engine cutoff and good orbit, that will wrap up our coverage for now. Be sure to check our social media for confirmation of Starlink deployment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.